get inspired by people around them. But obviously there needs to be guidance, and obviously also people are different. So some people need more guidance than others, and I think that is also the beauty of the business. So some person, they have a goal and off you go, and another person is probably they need to be with us sparring more often. And I think both are really good. So it's not that one is better than the other.
I just came up with a question while you're talking. If one of the former employees of Go4 decide to quit working with you, but start some business of his or her own, would you partner with this person? Would you partner with this business? If it's business-like interesting.
Why not?
You won't have this feeling of betrayal.
No, because people have different stages in their life, and also I think we love all of our employees, but I think if someone decides to start their own business and it's unique and it's something that we can actually co-create something together better for our customers and bring the value they're looking for, why not? I don't see any struggle with that.
Okay, I got your point. Today and in a few previous episodes, we talked quite much about the diverse teams. So team that it's both good and bad to have a team where people come from multiple backgrounds. What's your opinion about that? Whether it's better to have a more homogeneous team to work in a more similar culture, or it's better when the culture is really diverse?
That's a very good question. Well, homogeneous teams, I think then you probably don't get the best things out of it. So I truly believe in diverse teams. Obviously, you have to understand the differences in people. And I think that is quite often something that is missing from the picture. So people just wonder, why some things don't work. But, we have different backgrounds. We have different experiences, different DNAs. We product differently. We share different mindsets. And I think those need to be shared, and also some sort of rules need to apply, within the team that you agree together, this is, how we operate. And also, I actually have some examples from my work, and maybe one good point that I could bring out here is that you have to agree what's okay and what is not okay.
Like agree in the very beginning.
Yeah, and I think before that also maybe doing some sort of kind of analysis what sort of a person you are, because people get misunderstood very easily for the wrong reason. And quite often they mean well, but they just, they have different communication style. They might be introvert when the other is extrovert. They might have what to say, or maybe they are shy, or maybe they need more time to think. So, answer to your question, I think diverse teams definitely are better than homogeneous teams. And I think teams are needed because 1 + 1, I think it equals minimum 3 or 4 rather than 2.
Right. One quick question to sum it up. As a business person, do you think that it's a good time to start a business of your own nowadays for both Finns and internationals in Finland?
Yes, but I think I see some beautiful platforms today, and I think there is also the whole ecosystem, how the corporates work, and how I think there should be much more cooperation between the companies, whether they're small or big. And I think some sort of catalyst and some sort of support services are needed to actually make the companies and the entrepreneurs flourish and do their best.
Thank you very much for this interview, Riikka. Thank you for having time, and thank you again for a great presentation today during this event. And we'll hope to see you in Tribe Tampere at some point.
Thank you. It was fun.
Thank you.
This week we have one more guest who is maybe not a typical character for our studio. Nevertheless, from now on we have a new community player, and I thought it would be a great idea to invite him for the interview. So hello, Leland. Please tell our listeners a few things about yourself.
Hi, my name is Leland Masek. I am a experimental game designer and game educator. So I originally come from the United States. I've been designing games that challenge players' conceptions of what games can be and can do for the last 6 years, originally starting in the Hudson Valley of New York, where I was designing large-scale games for over 100 players at a time, playing for up to a month at a time, various mixtures of what would be called pervasive games. I then started working in live-action role-playing game design and teaching social-emotional skills to children on the autism spectrum and in broader communities, where the frame of a story was used as a tool to explore large societal and emotional issues like the presence of abuse, and how to interact with abuse from a bystander position, and how to emotionally negotiate that kind of experience. I started a game design program in Boston at a place called Guard Up, really wonderful company. I then moved to New York City, where I was working as another game education program designer and game designer in live-action role-playing games at a place called Brooklyn Game Lab. I started and designed their second store location and their second standalone after-school program called Quest Lab, which currently runs with over 150 students a week in the program, with a couple of other really amazing designers as well. I became a systems designer and was designing business structures as if they were games. I designed a website as if it was a game for a coffee company. I designed a live-action role-playing game called This Is When We Rest, which is performing currently in New York City and Los Angeles, where players experience their own death in an apocalyptic event. It recently won a Best Bet in Theater award from Theater is Easy. And from this point, I wanted to continue my own personal education in what the playful form and frame can do for humans who engage in intentional play. So I followed my favorite living author, Jakovouri, to Finland, where he teaches at the University of Tampere, and I am studying with him and learning more about Nordic LARP and other extended game forms. And now I am bringing my interest in experimental game creation to the Finland International Game School, which I founded, and we are starting a summer camp program for kids to explore new forms of games that they may have never experienced before, that are in person and huge amounts of fun next week at Tribe Tampere.
Probably you should open up a bit more about what are the criteria for eligibility for your program and how exactly the kids can benefit from your program.
Absolutely. The Unplugged Game Camp is the program that's starting next week. It is for ages 6 and up. It takes the fun and excitement of digital games, which is growing and is an amazing experience, off of the screen and into the real world. So students who really enjoy playing in these high stimulation action games can experience that kind of engagement while also building friendships, while also running around outside, while experiencing the tactile, sensational world that is all around us. So what we do is we teach major board games that have come out in the last 5 years, in the golden age of board games, as it's known. We teach tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons and various other tabletop role-playing games I've designed, as that's one of the fields I've worked in, and live-action role-playing out in the park, where we use foam swords, and they get to almost like an older era of running around outside with sticks sword fighting, but made safe and with interactive storytelling techniques, right? So you can be a pirate, you can be a ninja, and you're facing, right, a triceratops who's roaming around, and I am an interactive actor, right? And so, you know, I'll go into body positions of a triceratops or a T-Rex, right, and chase children around, and they get terror and the excitement of that high stimulation style experience while also engaged in the physical world. After we play these really big games, we then engage in a game design session where there are no rules for how you can change the rules. So you say, well, that was really fun, but I would change this one thing. And we encourage that highly and active, insightful criticism and critique of games, and teach the philosophy of, if there's anything that you would want to change in your lived experience, you can change those things. So it's a very valuable education style for students and children to learn that the rules of their experience are not restrictions. They are offers, and they can be changed, and they can be modified, and that education, I think, is more and more critical for students to get as we move into the modern economy and business practices and life practices that are constantly creating new rules for how things are done.
Could you please open up about the team which is working with you on this project?
Yeah, absolutely. I am the foundational member, working especially with the education side. I'm also working with Daniel Fernandez Galeote, who is an amazing Spanish game designer, and he is already produced an interactive theatrical work with me that we did this last spring as a part of the beginning of this. We've worked and partnered with a series of institutions. So Danny and I are designing an escape room for next year, which will both be a physical, immersive, sensational experience and also a pedagogical tool. So we will have student-aged kids playing the escape room, feeling the tactile experiences, and then learn about escape room design and then change and build their own escape room as a secondary part. He has designed escape rooms and a lot of great things. He's also a video game designer, so all of our digital work is going to be coming from him. We also have been partnering with Spoken Word Theater, which is a really great theater company inside of Tampere, and we put up an interactive theater show called Well, That Depends this last spring, where audiences played 6 live-action games with the actors on stage and got to experience a very different style of theater. We are talking with the city of Tampere. I run an after-school program at the Finnish International School of Tampere, and we've been talking with the Finnish Museum of Games and the library system.
That's extensive part of the network. As a you're even non-EU.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So as an international talent, was it easy for you to find a team to do something great here in Finland?
I think my experience with any team is there's a lot of work that comes with meeting people and finding out how to connect in a beneficial way. So I have found Finland is a really great, very open place. There's a lot of people from a lot of situations where I've run into where they are really excited about helping, and that's absolutely amazing. When I first got to Finland and I sent a bunch of emails to a bunch of different exciting institutions and organizations, I met some really helpful theater directors and some other kinds of leaders. I met Mirza doing improvisation. I met Jamie Makinen in the spoken word theater, and both of them have been very proactive, enabling exciting things to happen inside of Tampere. So I would say the amount of response from people I've gotten from sharing ideas has been really remarkable.
Probably that was a great bit of information for our listeners about your program. As far as I got it from our pre-talking, if you're interested in joining the game school, you can still apply for it.
Yes. So we are running the Unplugged Game Camp for the next 2 weeks. If anyone would like to sign up, finlandinternationalgameschool.com is up, and we are accepting applications.
Right. Great. Thank you very much for this interview, Leland.
Thank you.
This was Tribecast episode 18, and my name is Marina. See you next week in Helsinki, and for now, have a pleasant weekend. Stay warm and tuned.